I have been trying to figure out how to own my own business for, I don't know, since I was 6 years old, I would say. So going through and getting to the point in time where I can take my business background from previous roles that I had and start my own business was what brought me to the franchise. Part of me wanted to have that process in place and have a proven system. So going into franchising was the best option for me to have all the time. So I looked at a couple of different options and ultimately decided on Next Day Access as finding that right development that I had, a good name brand recognition, a product and services that I was very interested in and serving the community with. And so that's why I chose Next Day Access and launched as franchise. The most unexpected part of the business is just kind of that like roller coaster of highs and lows and a lot of action and then no action, depending on how the day goes. Any business is going to have that. I'm just very used to a consistent kind of mature business and what I've been in before. And so going through and having that some weeks like last week where I was working 90, 95 hours in 5 days is one thing. And you look back a few weeks prior and it's like the phone rang twice. So just kind of getting used to that, always being on, always trying to make sure that I'm promoting and doing more work for the business has been probably the most unexpected part of it. The inconsistencies and having that all on and all off. I have this conversation with a lot of potential franchisees and new franchises. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Next Day Access is a perfect franchise. It is great if you were willing to put it in. A couple of things that I would go back and change. I would be a little bit more proactive prior to opening and being more proactive in the community outreach, trying to get involved with the rehab facilities. So that's the hospitals, the small rehab clinics, everything like that. Getting more involved because it takes a longer time to get in as a potential vendor. It took me 5 months to get into the two local rehab facilities. And then from there, it was still a couple of weeks before I actually was able to get in. And so starting that process a little bit earlier on, I think would be a much more beneficial part. Same thing with the VA. As soon as you know you're going to be opening, start having those conversations, start trying to reach out and meet those people. Another thing is the vendor relations. I had a lot of experience in previous roles as a director of operations for a material supply company, working with a lot of different vendors. And I think that there's great partnerships that we have, but focus on the vendors that you really need to focus on and have those conversations first. A big part is, you want to have that number one, you need to have a number two, like almost every single vendor have that. So figure out who you really want that number one to be. Call up a lot of other franchise owners. Call up, the vendors and talk to them direct. See who you travel with and who other people are selling. Do the market research. Everybody in my market is selling one specific stair lift. So while that is my number one stair lift, I looked at bringing in a second stair lift so that I had something to compete with. So it wasn't just five people all quoting the same material and it's just based on price at that point in time. So do the research in the market, do the research with other franchisees, find out who are the best partners to work with from a vendor perspective, and then go with that.